This is Valley View News.
Many residents of Azusa and Glendora had to protect their homes from the big rainstorms that hit the area. Some Los Angeles homeowners and businesses talked about the benefits of using solar power to cut pollution. Some of the world's biggest stars graced the red carpet for the 86th Annual Academy Awards.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Hannah Townsley.
And I'm Simone Braithwaite.
Another winter storm has struck the East Coast. Many federal government offices and schools closed as a precaution. Air traffic has been affected with 2,000 flight cancellations. Delaware and Tennessee declared states of emergency. Some states expected to get to 4 to 8 inches of snow and sleet. Winter storms left many areas around the country low on road clearing supplies.
2 megastorms hit Southern California last week. Here is Valley View's Ruby Martinez with more.
The storms brought much needed rain to Southern California, but for the foothills of the San Gabriel Mountains, there was a risk of mudslides because previous fires left the hillsides bare. I went to see how the communities of Glendora and Azusa prepared.
Residents of Azusa and Glendora picked up sandbags from the city yard to protect their homes from mud and debris left from the Colby fire. Last month, the Colby fire burned 1,900 acres of the San Gabriel Mountains. The fire destroyed 7 homes and damaged 7 others. Glendora resident Ernesto Alvarez's home sits right below the foothills.
They really worry about it. They're expecting that there might be a mudslides from the mountain since there's no vegetation up there. Even the city been putting barricades throughout the foothills. And I even got some sand sacks to put in right in front of my garage, so if it rains as much as they say, it could go right under the door.
City officials say they're learning from the past. In 1969, a massive flooding followed fires similar to the Colby fire. That flooding destroyed 200 homes and killed dozens of people.
You know, we sort of operate under our emergency plan with the thought of we're going to plan for the worst, hope for the best. And so we are looking at that from that standpoint. As far as confidence, I think we're doing everything we can to be in that position to plan for the worst and help. But Mother Nature is a very unpredictable element.
Now, there is 70% more structures in the 1-mile stretch danger zone than there were in 1969.
About 1,000 homes were evacuated. Those people were allowed to go back home by the end of the weekend.
The 2 powerful storms that hit Southern California came with flash flood warnings, mandatory evacuations, and freeway closures across the region. Here's Valley View News' Paige McIntyre with more on the story.
There were flash flood warnings in the foothills of LA County, San Gabriel Valley, and Ventura County. Mandatory evacuations were made in cities like Azusa, Glendora, and Montrose due to the high risk of mudslides in the area.
The National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning in all of LA County, especially in low-lying areas like Northridge. As you can tell, the flood waters that are rushing down through the drains are coming from the CSUN dorms.
Junior Jessie Sun says she does have a car but chose a different kind of transportation for the day.
In this kind of weather, I would still bike because it's not as bad, but I would prefer to drive if I can.
The Los Angeles police were also warning drivers to stay cautious this weekend as the storm was expected to produce heavy rains, making driving conditions difficult. Drivers like Tori Kylander of Northridge are taking an extra precaution on a day like this.
I try to give myself a lot of time to brake. There's a lot of crazy drivers in LA. I'm not used to people cutting me off, and so I just give myself a lot of space.
LAPD just wants drivers to slow down during these kinds of storms. After a few weeks of early spring weather, some businesses in the Northridge area are struggling through this weekend. Get Shaved shift leader Elizabeth Gutierrez says business has been different since the storm.
Business has gone down a lot. Obviously, I don't have a lot of customers, so I'm working by myself until the next person comes in.
The LA Times reported in just one day, Chatsworth had more than 2 inches of rainfall. In Northridge, this is Paige McIntyre, Valley View News.
Governor Jerry Brown has signed a bill to aid communities affected by the drought. The bill will provide more than $600 million to help capture and manage water and secure emergency drinking water. There will also be changes to ensure existing water laws are enforced. That includes increased penalties for illegally diverting water during a drought. Assembly Speaker John Perez recently said the new bill will not help end the drought and Californians will need to continue to conserve water.
Experts say the vast majority of people deal with occasional sadness, but some people are diagnosed with the health condition of clinical depression. Valley View's Amelia Favela has the story.
Depression is a serious medical condition that interferes with the daily lives of those who are affected by it. 20-year-old CSUN student and president of the CSUN chapter of RTDNA, Jasmine Dalton, says she has been struggling with depression since 18 years old.
I lost interest in the things that I used to do. I used to love going outside and playing sports, and all I wanted to do was stay inside and sleep. I got really irritable around people. I didn't want to be bothered. I just wanted to be by myself all the time. Depression has affected my everyday life now because it's hard for me to get out of bed. It's making me not want to do any homework, any schoolwork. It just affects my daily schoolwork and studying.
Director and psychologist of the CSUN Counseling Services, Mark Stevens, says the best way to help someone who may be suffering from depression is to approach him or her compassionately.
But just say, I'm using words like, I care about you, I'm concerned about you, I want you to know that I'm there to help you in any way that I possibly can.
Dalton says it is important for anyone who is suffering from the illness to talk openly about it.
It's just amazing how someone can just give you that insight about yourself, about the things that you didn't even know, about why you are the way you are, and that therapist did that for me, or is currently doing that for me. Always communicate with your loved ones, everyone around you, and sometimes you may not notice it yourself, but it's just important to be self-aware.
The CSUN student says she is striving for a successful future regardless of her condition.
I want to get married, and if I have kids, I want to be able to take care of my kids without depression getting in the way, and I just want to live a healthy life and be who I'm supposed to be and not be sad and depressed all the time. I just want to have my life back and just live life freely, healthy, and depression-free.
Dalton says she hopes her story will motivate and inspire others who also struggle with depression.
So I would just love to help people and spread that knowledge on in my experience and what I went through to try to help their situation and to help them, make them feel that they're not alone and that it does get better.
If you're someone who is suffering from depression, don't be afraid to reach out. There are plenty of resources out there who want to help. In Northridge, I'm Amelia Favela with Valley View News.
Despite the ongoing violence in Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro has urged Venezuelans to enjoy a 6-day carnival holiday. As protesters passed by, families listened to the music and watched hip-hop dancers perform. A few thousand opposition marchers made their way to central Caracas, trying to convince low-paid workers to join the anti-government protests. Opposition supporters said they can't enjoy the festivities as the country struggles with high crime and political repression. According to government figures, the death toll from protests stands at 18, with 260 injured.
People might think living near the legendary Hollywood sign would be a dream, but for some of the sign's neighbors, the dream is a bad one. Valley View's David Lujan has the story.
The Hollywood sign, a symbol of hope for countless dreamers around the world. But what may surprise many is that the community under the famed landmark is the complete opposite of the flashy neon signs of nearby Hollywood Boulevard. Beechwood Canyon is a peaceful enclave of hidden lakes, nature paths, trendy cafes, and historic homes. The Hollywood sign has been looking down at this community for over 90 years, like an old family member with countless stories to tell. The latest story is that its residents are not so thrilled with the increasing wave of tourists that flock by the thousands each year to visit the sign. Beechwood Canyon resident David Kears shared with me his thoughts.
Very first day I moved in, as I was unloading boxes, I had like 3 cars stop me and ask me how to get to the Hollywood sign.
As big a landmark as the Hollywood sign is, getting close to it is another story. 26-year-old Levi Obery is one of those tourists Beechwood residents don't welcome.
It did take a lot of driving around to find this spot to take some pictures.
Despite signs like these, tourists find themselves veering off the beaten path and invading the quiet hillside streets of this exclusive community to reach the sign. Now, this is the closest point you can get to the Hollywood sign. As you can see, it's a normal neighborhood. City officials have proposed putting temporary parking spaces that would help ease with the flow of oncoming tourists. But the question is, will it work? Or will this just be another story for the famed Hollywood sign to share? I'm David Lujan, reporting for Valley View News.
An environmental advocacy organization, Environment California, says that if 20% of rooftops in Los Angeles have solar panels by 2020, it can clean up air pollution and fight global warming. Solar panels could help reduce pollution by 1.1 million tons a year. Luisa Fabiola Gonzalez joins us in the studio to report on a community meeting to support solar power.
Over 30 Los Angeles businesses and organizations and many citizens have already endorsed the 20% rooftop solar goal. Environment California says such a goal would make Los Angeles a solar power leader unmatched anywhere in the country.
Los Angeles is famous all over the world for its sunshine, but right now we get less than 2% of our power from the sun. State environmental group Environment California, homeowners and businesses gathered at Michelle Torena Elementary in Silver Lake to call on the Los Angeles city government to commit to getting 20% of our power from local solar by 2020.
Helps to fight climate change and reduce global warming pollution. It actually saves a lot of water.
Our city is transitioning away from burning coal.
We have to think of some very creative, proactive, forward projects that can move capital, so folks can afford to access energy efficiency as well as solar photovoltaic.
68 schools in the Los Angeles Unified School District have already implemented solar power and serves both as a green initiative and to have students learn about the importance of conservation.
There's all kinds of ways, creative ways we can utilize this money very intelligently for the child, for the overall well-being of the child. But to do so, we have to make sure we reduce our energy load and we're able to generate our own energy. And by doing energy efficiency and solar photovoltaic, it's a win-win combination.
I want to help schools and homes just do better for our earth.
LAUSD will receive $26 million for solar panels next year. Eventually, the money saved could mean more money for after-school programs to help students. Back to you.
The Walt Disney Company will stop sending donations to the Boy Scouts of America starting in 2015. Disney's decision to pull all funding to the organization is due to the BSA's membership policy that bans gay Scout leaders. BSA spokesman Deron Smith says the Scouts are disappointed with Disney's decision because it will impact their ability to serve current and future Boy Scouts.
Disney's charity guidelines state if groups discriminate unlawfully or in a manner inconsistent with Disney's policies on race, religion, or sexual orientation, they become ineligible for funding. Disney now joins Intel, UPS, Major League Soccer, and AT&T as companies who have also ended partnership with the Scouts because of the policy. Valley View reporter Evan Robinson found out what some CSUN students had to say about the Boy Scouts losing one of their biggest contributors.
The LGBT community, they have to put themselves out there, let it be known. And so it's kind of hard to bring that group in and for the Boy Scouts of America to sort of deny that to that certain group of people. I think it's completely wrong. And Disney has all the right to withdraw their funding into Boy Scouts of America.
I think Disney should have released a statement before they cut, and I'm sure they did, but I don't know. I feel like they should have tried to work something out at least. It's just to cut funding seemed a little bit harsh to me, I guess.
That I think it's all right because Disney is showing how they feel and how they support the gay, lesbian, and bisexual community by stopping their funds and giving the support and showing how they want the Boy Scouts and the leaders to have be acceptable of sexual preferences.
I personally believe that people shouldn't be discriminated against. I think that it's important for us to treat everybody equally, and when it comes down to it, I guess I can kind of support what Disney's doing for, I guess, cutting ties if they're not going to allow, anyone who wants to be involved in the organization to do so.
I think it's a great move, like Disney cutting donation for kids.
because these kids need support, they need help, and they're doing something great.
Many California State University campuses are proposing to charge a new fee called a Student Success Fee. This promises more classes, programs, and improved graduation rates without increasing tuition. Cal State campuses at Fullerton, Dominguez Hills, and San Diego are among those considering the charges. They would range from $200 to $500 per semester. Despite the benefits, some students oppose the fee. They say they won't have enough money to cover other necessities. Since 2006, tuition and fees have gone up by 91%.
The rate of early births is declining in the U.S. Deliveries before 39 weeks have dropped to about 4% compared to 17% in 2010. The Leapfrog Group has been tracking this change. Their information has forced hospitals to adopt policies preventing doctors from scheduling births before 39 weeks.
Washington State is having a rise in a particular birth defect. The State Department of Health has found 23 cases of anencephaly from January 2010 to January 2013. That's 4 times higher than the national average. The cause of the birth defect is unknown. Mothers of children born with anencephaly say the Department of Health is doing poor research. One medical expert at UCLA says it can cost millions of dollars to do proper investigating. Washington State's Department of Health will continue to report the number of babies born with the defect to see if the problem continues.
A 12-year-old boy has received the opportunity of his life. New Zealander Lewis Corbett, who has a serious eye disorder, will soon embark on an international sightseeing tour with his family. Corbett created a bucket list, including visiting the Grand Canyon and the Empire State Building. But most of all, Corbett wanted to attend a professional basketball game, the Boston Celtics in particular. After catching the attention of a Boston-based software firm CEO, $25,000 were raised for the Corbetts. But luck didn't stop there. It was through Twitter that Corinne Grusbeck heard about Corbett's story. Grusbeck is a chair of the trustees at the Perkins School of the Blind and is married to the owner of the Boston Celtics. Corbett will attend a Boston Celtics game and spend the day at a Massachusetts eye and ear infirmary that could possibly help Louis see again.
Coming up in sports, one track star is in court facing murder charges.
And we'll tell you which golfer pulled out of the Honda Classic.
You love their music. Why would you steal it? When you illegally download your favorite band's music, they might just disappear. Downloading music without paying for it is just not cool.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Do you know what to do?
Yes.
Bring it back to me. Then I'll give you your money.
Frank Thomas, you are under arrest for the theft of trade secrets. Come with me.
Bye-bye, Frank. Theft of trade secrets is illegal.
Hey, Strongman, I hear a famous golfer had been injured, affecting his performance in a recent tournament.
Yeah, it seems like Tiger is stuck in the woods. The top-ranked golfer in the world pulled out of the Honda Classic after complaining about back spasms. Tiger Woods struggled to hit good shots and was stretching his back a lot. Woods placed the front in 40 and was 5 over for his round after 4 bogeys, a double bogey, and just 1 birdie. He made 4 straight pars on the back 9 before deciding to leave. Woods' worst season was 2012 when he tied for 40th in both the Players and Masters championships and came in second at the Wells Fargo Championship. Former NFL safety Darren Sharper is facing 7 counts of felony rape in both New Orleans and Los Angeles. Since his drug possession arrest in January, his legal problems increased dramatically. He has been fired from the NFL Network. Sharper posted $1 million bail in L.A. There's a warrant for his arrest in New Orleans. The first weekend of the playoff season was especially crazy, and you didn't have to watch all the games to understand why. Wichita State will head to the postseason with a perfect record. It's the first team in 10 years to finish the regular season undefeated. They conquered Missouri State 68-45, holding a record of 31-0. Virginia, on the other hand, is the ACC champion, handing Syracuse a humbling loss of 75-56. This brings their record to 17-1. And finally, the majority of the top 10 didn't perform over the weekend. Number 4 Syracuse, number 5 Kansas, number 7 Louisville, number 9 Creighton, and number 10 St. Louis all lost on the same day. This hasn't happened since January 2003. In other words, at a time where we usually make educated predictions on who might make it to the top, we go in knowing less than any other season. Allen Iverson's number 3 jersey is now immortalized in the city of Philadelphia. The 76ers honored the 11-time All-Star and 2001 MVP by raising his jersey to the rafters during Sunday's halftime. The sold-out arena roared as the banner with Iverson's name was being raised. It now stands alongside with other greats who played for the Sixers. Iverson was a 7-time All-NBA selection, a 4-time scoring champion, 3-time steal leader, and the 1997 Rookie of the Year. Iverson also played for the Denver Nuggets, Detroit Pistons, and Memphis Grizzlies before finishing his career in Turkey. Dodgers pitcher Josh Beckett is back from surgery and off to a promising start. The right-hander threw 3 strikeouts in his 2 scoreless innings against the San Diego Padres. Beckett allowed 1 hit as he competes to reclaim his spot in the Dodger pitching rotation. The Dodgers took a 2-0 lead in the 5th inning, but the game ended in a 3-all tie after 9 innings. Beckett is returning to surgery after last July to alleviate a nerve problem in his arm. There are talks that the NFL is debating whether it should ban the N-word on playing on the field. It's questioning if players should be penalized for using the racial slur. The word is common among African-American players. Seattle Seahawks cornerback Richard Sherman says it's weird that the one specific word is being targeted. Veteran player Harry Carson from the New York Giants says it's disheartening that players justify using the word. Owners will begin debating on the issue on March 23rd. That's all for sports. Now back to you.
Coming up in entertainment, the 86th Academy Awards rolled out the red carpet to honor some of Hollywood's biggest stars.
We have the details on who went home with an Oscar.
Thank you for calling your GED Pep Talk Center. All right, now, are you ready for your GED Pep Talk?
Being nervous is okay. It just shows that you're serious about getting your diploma.
A lot of things are scary. Heck, I'm scared of clowns.
No quiero ir. No lo puedo hacer.
DMC, life in your pep talk style.
Just keeping it real, Debs. Just keeping it real.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And shelter pets make super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a shelter pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
So Alicia, it looks like everybody had a good time at the Oscars.
Yes, Simone, comedian and host Ellen DeGeneres had everyone at the edge of their seat throughout the night. Hollywood's elite came out to play at the Academy Awards. The theme of the evening was Heroes in Hollywood. The show was hosted by comic and talk show host Ellen DeGeneres, who kept the evening lighthearted and hilarious. Throughout the show, she was active on social media and even took a giant selfie with the night's biggest celebrities. The picture became the most retweeted ever on Twitter and actually caused the website to crash. DeGeneres had the crowd eating out of her hands, literally, after she ordered pizza for the audience. As always, there was a list of the night's best and worst. Best Leading Actor went to Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club. Cate Blanchett walked away with the Best Leading Actress award for Blue Jasmine. Lupita Nyong'o won her first Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in 12 Years a Slave. Best Supporting Actor went to Jared Leto for Dallas Buyers Club. 12 Years a Slave also received the award for Best Picture. But let's talk about the fashion on the red carpet. Charlize Theron was a crowd pleaser in her sleek black number, and Nyong'o stole the show, as she has before, in a low-cut powder blue Prada dress. Pharrell put himself on the worst dress list when he arrived on the red carpet in skin-tight capris. Whoopi Goldberg also made a whoopsie with her Wicked Witch of the West socks and sparkly red shoes. The acceptance speeches were mainly classy. Jared Leto began the night thanking his family for their part in his success and spoke about current political and national events. Nyong'o advised everyone to follow their dreams, and McConaughey talked about always having a hero to chase. And let's not forget the musical performances. Pharrell performed his hit single Happy and had everyone dancing in their seats. Pink performed her rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow as part of the tribute to the 75th anniversary of The Wizard of Oz. And Idina Menzel performed Let It Go from Disney's Frozen. It won for Best Animated Film. That was the studio's first win that kind since the category was created 14 years ago. The night ended with celebrities making their way to various parties to celebrate their wins. Valley View reporter Lena Nasiri asked CSUN students about their favorite moments and biggest surprises of the glamorous night.
Well, last night was one of the first times I actually watched the Oscars because usually it's boring to me. But my favorite moments were Pharrell's hat and Ellen DeGeneres because that selfie, I was on Twitter and it crashed Twitter. I couldn't get on for like 20 minutes. I love Ellen, you know.
I thought it was funny when she was collecting money to pay for the pizza, and you got to see several reactions. I thought that was funny.
Jared Leto's speech was amazing. I thought Pink's performance was incredible. It was one of the best I've ever seen. Best versions of that song, which everybody has sung, that I've ever seen.
I was very saddened that Leonardo DiCaprio did not win anything again. You know, he should have won something back when he did Titanic.
I mean, my big surprise is I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to see All Is Lost, Robert Redford's film, but, you know, that it got nothing, not a nomination, astounds me. It's an incredible piece of work. I mean, he does this whole movie without dialogue, essentially, and I thought it was amazing. And I thought the fact that it was left off completely was pretty strange.
That's all for entertainment. Now back to you.
From all of us here at Valley View News, I'm Hannah Townsley.
And I'm Simone Braithwaite. Have a great day.